Regular sports fans, go deeper with STL Sports Central Insiders. Get exclusive access to Bernie, Randy, Claves, Jamal Mayers, and more. Plus, your chance to watch a Blues game in the alumni box with Jamal himself. Monthly giveaways, Bernie's columns all week, and support for local sports media. Join now at stlsportscentral.com. Trade Watch 2025 continues as all of baseball and all of Cardinal fans wait and see if and when Brendan Donovan, along with others, might get traded this offseason. And we'll talk about some the advancements in that, or the latest in that, if that's what you want to call it, on today's Card Central 365, brought to you by DraftKings, where the crown is yours. Joe Roderick, Grant Salzman with you here. And Grant, all this talk of, we've been putting out rumors, it seems like every day, and speculation and fantasy trades of where we want to see Brendan Donovan go. Nobody has heard from Brendan Donovan. That is until last night. He was part of a fundraiser last evening for a podcast called Dealin the Cards. And during his time on there, spoke about his thoughts, because you kind of have to. I mean, you have to bring it up. You have to ask him about everything. And we'll read those to you in a second. But Brendan Donovan comes, this is, he's in a different situation than everybody else that we're kind of talking about with these trades.
Yeah, and we talked about it off air. He's the only one without a no trade clause,
Newt Bar, Burleson too, but I mean, all the speculation has been around Arenado, and we saw Gray traded, Contreras traded, like those, they have a say.
Contreras traded
if he gets traded.
I see what you're saying. Yes. They have a say, and when you look at those two guys, like Contreras and Arenado, it's, well, what can we get the best price for and put them in a spot that they want to go? Maybe for Arenado, you can get the best price from a different team, but he doesn't want to go to that team, and he has a say on it. Brendan Donovan, you're shopping for the highest bidder. You are making it a bidding war for Brendan Donovan if you can, and I think that is the good position that Chaim Bloom is in with the Brendan Donovan. I think also the Cardinals have learned a little bit from last year. Even Eric Fetty had a career year, one of the best he's had since his return to the MLB, and they could have traded him for not a pretty penny, but for something. And instead he has one of the worst seasons he's had. And is Brendan Donovan this guy? I think he's a very good ball player, but I don't know if he'll ever put up the stats he put up this season ever again. So
there are going to be some fans either in the Bay Area or in New York or wherever it is that Donovan get traded that are going to possibly have those same thoughts that you just mentioned if their best prospect gets traded away. I don't think we've seen the best out of Brendan Donovan yet. I think we are still seeing a player who is growing more and more each and every year. And this year he is going to be coming off surgery this offseason. He spoke about that. But last night on the show, Brendan Donovan had this to say: "It's one of those things. It would be tough, obviously. It's all I've ever known." Talking about playing in St. Louis. He said, "I do understand that this is a business and the direction they're going to go. If they're going to rebuild, reset, whatever they want to call it, they have the right to do, they have to do the right thing for what they think is best for the organization. I'm not oblivious to that. Wherever I'm at, you're going to get discipline, sense of community, and I'm going to play my ass off." That from Brendan Donovan last night on the Dealin the Cards podcast. I mean, this is a guy who I would imagine if you would have asked him back in October, his thoughts on playing for another team, it would have been, no, I want to be here in St. Louis. Like, this is where I've come up. This is my home. You read those comments, you listen to the comments that he made. I think this is a guy that, to me, come to terms with, I'm probably going to get dealt.
Yeah, I think he has realized that it's probably, the momentum is built so much with him and so much kind of in this Chaim Bloom era. He realizes he's not dumb. I think that the writing's on the wall for Brendan Donovan. I'd be very surprised if it doesn't happen soon.
When you read all of the rumors that are out there and you see that you are getting looked at by by the Giants, who have shown that they're going to spend money and they're going to do what they need to do to win. And you look at the Mariners, who were 1 win away from the World Series last year, and I think you start to see that, like, this isn't just a case of, we're gonna trade, you're getting traded to the Yankees, you're getting traded to the Dodgers, something like that. Like, you're looking out there at teams that are trying to be one piece away, like one piece away, and you might be that piece, and you start to see this stuff. I imagine that's got to change a person's perspective on it too, and going, okay, like this is going to be a really good situation for me. Okay, I think I can accept this.
Because how many years are left on his contract?
2. He's got 2 more. Yeah.
Who's to say that he will ever achieve that with the Cardinals? You know, you might waste your 2 years away here. Maybe the Cardinals aren't quite ready yet in your time here. These teams are ready. These teams are ready to win, and winning's fun. And also, back to when I say that a career year, he might never have that again. Maybe he puts up these numbers again, but his trade value will never be this high. A guy that still has 2 years of team control on a relatively cheap contract. If you trade him at the deadline, all of a sudden it's a year and a half. If you trade him next offseason, all of a sudden it's, we only get him for a year. Then we have to either re-up on a big contract if he has another good year. So teams might give you the most they'll ever give right now. I know some people think, well, at the deadline, you can leverage it a little bit more. Oh, you really need a second baseman. Everyone's hurt. Here's our guy. But I still think this is the most you'll get for the Cardinals for Brendan Donovan, for all the reasons you laid out: team control, career year, and the Cardinals know teams want to win. You can create that bidding war.
That's something, one of the points you just brought up. I think that's something we could dive into in probably spend a whole show on it, especially if Brendan Donovan goes another week or more without being traded, or if the Cardinals as a whole don't make any kind of moves. And that is, where is the value the highest? Because I get what you're saying. I get, having the 2 years of control makes him attractive for those reasons. And you're never going, you think maybe this is where he's the most valuable. But when you look at, I get a year and a half is less than 2 years. But if you are a team that is in a position to make a postseason run, and you look at what you need halfway through the season, and you look at it then and you go, wow, if we had him, we could lead him off or bat second. He fills a underperforming gap that we've had. Like, we're already, let's just say we're already like 8 games up in the standings, and we have a terrible second baseman.
Yeah.
If we had this guy, but like and then you kind of, that's where I do wonder, like, okay, does that change the value of him in that situation?
Maybe, but you're taking another unnecessary risk as the Cardinals.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Who's to say that right now we know what Brendan Donovan is? His value is high. Like, what would he have to do to make that value higher? Yes, maybe you can leverage it a little bit at the trade deadline, but who's to say he's not going to be batting 250 and be a little banged up, get hurt? Like, all those things could happen. Like, I think from the Cardinals' point of view, it doesn't make sense to hang on to him for these 6 extra months, 7 extra months, to then potentially get injured, slump, not be the Brendan Donovan we saw last year, because we saw them make that mistake already a couple times. I think they could have dealt guys, not quite to this stature, but they could have dealt guys, and they didn't, and the value decreased.
These are all going to come into play when and if the Cardinals decide to make a move with Brendan Donovan. Have some other news and notes from the Cardinals coming up in just a bit.